Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're popping the hood on the true engine of any great story, the characters. They are absolutely the lifeblood of a narrative. But honestly, what actually makes us care about them? Why do some characters just jump right off the page and stick with you for a lifetime, while others kind of just fade into the background? Well, according to storytelling experts, it fundamentally comes down to one absolutely crucial trait, and that is proactivity.
So let's dive into this with a really fascinating writing paradox pointed out by author Brandon Sanderson. He calls it the villain problem. Have you ever noticed that in a lot of stories, the villains are actually way more interesting to watch than the heroes? It's a huge issue that plagues a surprising amount of fiction.
And this dynamic perfectly highlights why that happens. On one side, we've got our reactive hero. They're usually just hanging out, living a comfortable life, essentially waiting for a wizard to knock on their door or some disaster to strike. But on the other side, we have the proactive villain. They are out there putting in the work, they've got a goal, they are actively trying to destroy the world or take over the kingdom, and they are making things happen. Villains naturally take action and drive the plot forward, while heroes, a lot of the time, just passively wait for the adventure to come to them.
Section 1. The Framework Elements. Sanderson's 3 Pillars.
To fix that villain problem, Sanderson outlines 3 pillars for compelling characters: proactivity, relatability, and capability. But here's the secret sauce. Characters rarely excel at all 3 of these at the same time. I mean, if they did, they'd be totally perfect and incredibly boring. Instead, a well-written character usually shines in one area, shows moderate strength in another, and then actively develops the third one over the course of their arc. That right there, that's your formula for genuine character growth. So the linchpin here is proactivity. It's defined as the act of taking charge and moving the story forward. Sanderson actually argues this might be the single most important element that makes a character readable. We just naturally bond with characters who make progress. Think about the character Jack in the pilot episode of the TV show Lost. Amid the absolute, literal chaos of a plane crash, he doesn't just sit there waiting for help. He is immediately sprinting through the wreckage, organizing survivors, setting up medical triage. We bond with him instantly because he is fiercely taking charge of his destiny.
Section 2. Mulan's proactive character arc.
But what if your character isn't fighting evil empires right off the bat? Let's use Disney's Mulan as our primary case study. Her proactive steps escalate brilliantly throughout the story. Notice she doesn't start with a sword in her hand. We're introduced to her through a morning routine where she invents this really clever, creative chore system just to feed the chickens. It's small, sure, but it shows real agency. Then, when the military draft happens, she takes the massive proactive leap of stealing her father's armor and leaving home, and that all builds to the ultimate climax of her literally saving China. The reason her arc works so incredibly well is that those small proactive moments establish believable motivation for the massive leaps later on. Because we see her deep bond with her father, and we see her knack for clever solutions early on with the chickens, her major choice to take his place in the army feels entirely earned. It feels logical to us. She was always a problem solver. The problems just got bigger. And this matters for us as the audience, because it proves that massive heroic acts don't just come out of nowhere. They're built on a solid foundation of everyday proactivity.
Section 3. Mapping the arc. Wants versus needs.
This is where the true depth of a character is born, mapping their external proactivity against their internal psychological growth. As the Reed framework outlines, it all comes down to a fundamental battle between the want and the need. A character's proactive outer journey is completely driven by their want, this very specific goal they pursue because they genuinely think it's going to make them happy. But buried way beneath that is their need. The need is a fundamental, and usually pretty uncomfortable, truth they absolutely must learn about themselves or the world. Usually, their relentless pursuit of the want is exactly what forces them to confront the deeper truth of their need. We can see exactly how this plays out across totally different genres. Take Joy from Pixar's Inside Out. She proactively wants to ensure Riley only feels positive emotions, but internally, she absolutely needs to realize that all emotions, especially sadness, are vital. Or look at Jay Gatsby. He wants nothing more than to reunite with Daisy, but he deeply needs to learn that happiness can't just be bought or found by recreating the past. And thinking back to our main study, Mulan, her proactive external pursuit is driven by her want to bring honor to her family by fitting into strict societal roles. But that very journey actively forces her to confront her internal need, which is dropping her disguise and finding true honor by being her authentic self. So to actually pull this off, there are some essential character building blocks.
You have to give them wants and needs. You have to identify positive strengths and negative flaws. And you absolutely must sketch out a relentless antagonist. As characters proactively chase their goals, they rely on their strengths, sure, but they also have to overcome highly relatable flaws. Think of Woody in Toy Story. Great leader, but he has to overcome this intense, blinding jealousy of Buzz Lightyear. And then the character has to clash with an antagonist who is perfectly designed to attack those exact weaknesses, just like Voldemort relentlessly goes after Harry Potter's vulnerabilities.
Section 4. Proactivity in constrained characters. Now, all of this makes perfect sense for action heroes, right? But what if your character is physically imprisoned or socially restricted from taking big, bold actions? Well, Sanderson explains that even a highly restricted character can remain a proactive driver of the story. First, you show mental proactivity through active planning. They can plot and strategize even if they physically cannot move. Second, you demonstrate small acts of agency within their constraints, like secretly hiding a tool or gathering information. And third, you focus on their genuine attempts, even if they ultimately fail. That effort itself keeps the audience hooked and proves the character isn't just giving up. If a character just isn't working for the audience, there is a very strong chance their motivations aren't clear or their proactive choices don't actually align with what they say they want. As Sanderson puts it, the difference between a wooden character and a deeply rounded character is their motivation. We absolutely have to understand exactly why they are taking action in the first place. Ultimately, well-crafted, proactive characters aren't just chess pieces to get us from plot point A to plot point B. They're a profound representation of the human experience. They explore complex themes, they provoke our thoughts, and they reflect their own human nature through their transformations. When they take action, when they struggle and grow, we as the audience build deep empathy for them. And in the process, we usually learn something incredibly valuable about ourselves. Section 5. Mastering Fictional Momentum. As we wrap up this explainer, let's consolidate what this really means for you. Whether you're analyzing a book, enjoying a movie this weekend, or sitting down to write your own story, this concept of proactivity fundamentally changes how you view a narrative. I want to leave you with this final thought. Think about your absolute favorite character of all time, or maybe one you're creating right now. Ask yourself, are they truly the engine of their own story, making choices and driving the action? Or are they just along for the ride, waiting for the plot to happen to them? The answer to that question might just determine whether that story is forgotten in a week or remembered forever.